Hello, I'm Dr. James Bogash, expert in health and longevity and creator of Bogash Life and Balance. And as a practicing chiropractor, as well as somebody who teaches a Banish high blood pressure boot camp, this particular article really hits home. And it has everything to do with things that people take on a sometimes regular basis that they don't really give any thought to how damaging it particularly may be for their system. And in this particular case, it has to do with acetaminophen. So the ingredient typically found in products like Tylenol, but there's definitely generics available as well. And how much it actually affects blood pressure. The real problem people think about with both ibuprofen and Tylenol, or ibuprofen and acetaminophen, which is commonly found in Tylenol, would be that, oh, it's not good for the kidneys or the liver, but it's also not good for the blood vessels. We know that anti-inflammatories like ibuprofen, meloxicam, diclofenac, all of those are not good for the blood vessels and actually increase your risk of things like heart attack and stroke, which is not good, but it's not something that people think of. Well, in this particular study, they looked at patients, and they actually gave them, it was a small study, about 125 people. They gave them 1 gram of acetaminophen 4 times a day for 2 weeks. So basically, like, the average pill is 500 milligrams, so this would be 4 pills or 8 pills per day. And they found that the use of those medication for just 2 weeks actually increased blood pressure. Not a lot. For top numbers, systolic was 4.7. For the bottom number, the diastolic, it was 1.6. But again, as part of a package for lowering your blood vessels, we have to take everything. There's not any one thing that's going to lower your blood pressure. It's everything that we need to look at, the total package. And certain over-the-counter medications are part of that package that we need to look at and evaluate. The thing that surprises me is that people don't realize just how damaging these compounds are for our body. I already mentioned that most people are aware of maybe the liver, maybe the kidneys, but they also damage, I already said the blood vessels as far as heart and increasing clotting risk, but also the joints themselves. We know that people that take anti-inflammatories are at increased risk of joint replacement, which is crazy because that's what we take it for. There was a study, almost 20 years, 1994, almost 20 years ago, that found that lifetime use of 1,000 Tylenol or 1,000 acetaminophen increased the risk of end-stage renal failure, almost doubled. And it's like 8 to 10% of actual kidney failure cases are due to acetaminophen use. Like, this stuff is pretty toxic for your kidneys. So you do, well, I'll just take ibuprofen. A lifetime use of 5,000 of those. So more, but still, there's some people that do that in a typical year. Increase the risk of end-stage renal disease. Aspirin, on the other hand, did not have an effect. So another thing, I had a patient who had gone into, he's since passed, but he had been in kidney failure as a result of taking these PM-type medications. So the ones that have acetaminophen and dextromorphin, or whatever they use for sleep in those. And people don't think of them as being dangerous for us. But and interestingly enough, using these PM-type products to help sleep, like, they don't work for helping sleep. The FDA this is another example of how we think that the entities we have are protecting us, but that's not the case. After having the data for 15 years, the FDA finally came out in 2010 and said that, well, these products don't really change, like, there's no evidence that they actually help us sleep. And that was after 15 years of having the data on their desk, I guess. And that was in 2010. So, like, 12 years ago. So almost 30 years later, a product that doesn't work, that damages the kidneys and increases blood vessels, is still on the market and available, which is crazy. But this is why you need to be aware and educated on everything that you do, everything you put in your mouth, to make sure that you live a good, healthy life. So, as always, I'll post a link to this particular study in the description. Make sure you like this video, share it with somebody who you think needs the information, and subscribe to the channel.